Real estate is about discipline and patience. If you don't have discipline and you don't have patience, you're going to learn a very hard, expensive lesson. And it can ruin you. It could ruin you and every investor you bring with you.
Hey guys, welcome to an episode of Get Creative. I've got a new friend in the studio with me. Actually flew all the way from Hudson Valley, New York. Unbelievable guy, unbelievable family, and we become friends over the last 3 or 4 months. I'm interested in hearing his story. This gentleman has owned hundreds of units of doors in one of the toughest markets in the country, New York City. Right? I would never own property there because I don't know enough about it. So today I get to unfold this gentleman, open up the pages of his book and hear the story that he has to tell us. You can find him on Instagram at _property boss. And also his team is building a YouTube channel that is, I think, going to be unbelievable. So welcome to the show, Paul Carassone.
Oh.
He was wondering how I was going to say that, by the way, because your brother pronounces it differently, right?
He sure does. He calls it Paul Carassone. So we're always back and forth. We're at odds.
Super Italian.
Oh, yeah. I'm Carassone. He's Carassone. If I'm in Italy, it's Carassone.
Okay, so you guys are in New York. Your parents immigrated to the United States?
Yes.
And when was that?
Had to be in the 60s.
In the 60s, okay. Were
50s,
you
in the 50s.
in the 50s, which means you were born here in the United States. Okay, and you were born in New York. You got your start in real estate. We're going to get there in a little bit, but what was your first couple of jobs when you were coming up after you graduated high school?
Well, I started working when I was about 9 years old, and I was always working in supermarkets, going to pack groceries, things like that, till finally I got my working papers at 14 years old, started working in supermarkets. And that's
Working papers, huh?
Yeah, we had to have working papers back then. And I'm sure probably the kids need them today too. 14 years old, you have to have working papers.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Never once. I love that. So working papers at 14. Who got you into that? Your parents?
Into working in supermarkets?
Yeah.
It was just a place to go and work and make some money because...
So like kids in the neighborhood just knew that was a thing?
Yeah, just go and pack at the grocery store.
Wow. Packing, like meat packing or bagging groceries?
Bagging groceries. Go pack groceries. Into the bags, people ring up at the register. You pack the groceries. Customers leave you a tip and they're on their way.
How in the heck have we changed as a country so much that 9-year-olds and 14-year-olds don't get jobs anymore?
I don't know.
That's amazing. Say 14 years old, you're at supermarkets, you kind of get your start in that supermarket. Did you leave that business or did you stay in that business for a while?
Most of my life.
Most of your life?
Most of my life.
Tell me about that journey.
Start packing groceries. Then I had to got my working papers. Then I start rolling coins. You know, now I'm working in the front. I'm still, working in the front of the store. And the funny story is the manager would bring me change to wrap. And wrapping, you get the rolls of coins, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, so on. And I would be counting them and then putting them into the little wrappers.
This is before the machines, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Roll of pennies, 50 pennies in a roll. You would count 50 pennies, put them in a roll. Then the manager come up to me one day. His name was Jack. He says, Paul, what are you doing? He says, take the pennies, put them in a roll, put them on a scale. Don't count them, weigh them.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
You were spending all that time and energy.
Counting, yeah. He told me how much each weighs. Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters.
Question is, why didn't he tell you that before you started counting?
Don't know, but he did.
That's what a good mentor would have done, man.
Eventually he did.
He must have wanted you to learn the hard way. I'm gonna let him do it the hard way, and then I'll fix it a little bit later so he can appreciate the scale.
Probably. Then I went to becoming a porter.
Okay, what's a porter? Like a delivery guy?
No, porter is just mopping the store, cleaning the store, breaking aisle 5, clean up here, clean up there. And then when there was nothing to clean up, you're down in the basement baling boxes. Now, baling boxes is you break all the boxes, you put them in this baling machine, compress them down into these 4x4 bundles, and then you wire tie them. And tough job, not the cleanest job.
Yeah, you're down in the basement. You're down in all the mucky muck where the customers never go. You're busting your butt. You're going up and downstairs. You're down there by yourself a lot of times. Okay, so then from porter to then what? From
porter, baler, then to up on the main floor, just packing shelves.
And this is all in Manhattan?
This is in Brooklyn.
Okay, Brooklyn. Yeah. Man, how that city has changed since you were growing up there.
Oh, yeah. Yep, sure has.
Wow. Okay, so you're a porter, then you go where?
Up on the main floor, we're just boxing groceries, packing groceries, unboxing, put them on the shelves, things like that, and unloading trucks. Trucks come in, count, and then before you know it, go to dairy department.
Mm.
Then start working the dairy, start working through dates and understanding how that works. And then
How old are you at that point?
At that point, I'm probably 16 years old.
Okay, so you're going to school. You get out of school, you go over there, you start busting your butt.
Oh, yeah.
At the grocery. When are you going home?
Back then, stores closed at 7, so probably 8.
Wow.
Yeah. Go home, do homework, go to bed, wake up, next day, repeat.
Completely different world nowadays for kids. My dad was a contractor, so I started working for him on weekends when I was 8, somewhere around that time frame. And then my first real job is I was packing donuts at age 14. And I figured out faster, more efficient ways to pack the donuts so I could leave. They would pay me per route. And so I was incentivized to just do it faster. But at 14, all my friends were running around doing stupid things. And I'm over there making $300-400 a week. I felt like I was the richest human being on planet Earth. Do you remember how much money you were making about this time, 16 years old?
$50 a week.
And what were you doing with that money? Were you helping out with the family, or were you just keeping that money? Okay.
No, I would give it to my mom because at this point, my mother and father divorced.
Okay,
so
got it.
Things were tight. And then I bought a car. Of course, now you have to have a car. You're driving around, cruising, doing all the things 16, 17-year-olds do.
Getting in trouble.
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Yes.
Hanging out with your friends. We actually hung out and did things.
Yeah, me too. I was in the age where we did that too.
Yeah, skateboard, ride bikes, things like that.
Okay, what was your first car?
Toyota Corolla.
Back then, huh?
Toyota Corolla.
Wow.
Then
used or new?
Used.
Do you remember what you paid for it?
No, I don't remember.
You got to find that out.
It couldn't have been more than $1,800. That I could tell you.
Okay. So you're cruising around, you're 16, you're helping out your mom. $50 a week back then was significant.
It was decent. Yeah, it was decent money.
And did you do that out of sense of duty and responsibility to your mother? Or did your mom say, hey, Paul, you got to pull your own weight around here?
No, my mom never told me to go to work. It was just something I knew I had to do. It was something that came natural. You did it. At that age, in those days, you wanted to go out and work. You didn't want to sit home on your rear and just do nothing. You wanted to go to work, make some money.
It's interesting. I think that is going to be part of the story coming up. Is your work ethic is probably what has gotten you to where you currently are today.
Yeah.
And so you'll get people to reach out to you on your DMs, or I will too, and they'll go, Pace, what's the secret? What if you were going to tell somebody at 22 years old what the secret to success was? I would say, ask Paul. Start bagging groceries at age 9. Get the work ethic, because it becomes part of who you are.
Yeah.
In fact, I would imagine by the age of 16, 17, 18, you feel restless and uneasy if you're not working.
Back then, yes.
Right. So, all right. So you're at the grocery store, 16, you're hanging around with your friends. You got a car now, you're cruising around. How long do you continue to work at the grocery store?
Jesus. Another 20 years.
Another 20 years. Now you start managing, I imagine, right?
Yes, worked my way up through all the departments except for produce and meat department. But I was a manager of every other department in the store.
Okay, so you're still in Manhattan or still in Brooklyn? Still
yes.
in Brooklyn. You're, let's say, 30, 35 years old.
At that time, yeah.
You are not in real estate at all at this point.
I had owned a house, but I wasn't in real estate, so to speak. I wasn't an active investor. It was something I wanted to do. I knew I was going to be in real estate. I knew it from day one that I was going to be in real estate.
Like when you were 16?
Oh, absolutely.
What were you telling yourself?
I didn't know what it meant to be a real estate investor, but I knew I was going to own real estate. I knew that was going to be my claim to fame, owning real estate. And at maybe 17, 18 years old, I bought my first house. Yeah, I bought it from my mother, but I bought it.
Right.
I bought it for what she paid for it. And that wound up being a home run.
Yeah, I remember you actually told me this deal. You bought it for $14,000. Yep. You sold it for 1.6.
Yes.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Did you roll that money into other things?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get to there.
Yep.
So you're 35, 36 years old. You bought that property at what age? The 14,000.
That had to be about 18 years old.
Okay, 18 years old. When did you end up selling that thing?
18 years ago.
18 years ago. So you sold it 22 years after you bought it. So in 22
Roughly.
years, your investment basically it's like a 7,000% return.
Ain't that something?
Holy moly.
This is what real estate can do for you. Doesn't do it for everyone, but it can do it.
Okay, so you knew, I mean, watching that going up and up and up, that house that you owned when you were 18, as you were working at the supermarket, you're watching this property go up in value. You're like, I got to get more of these things. When was the first time you're like, I got to make something happen? I got to get into real estate. Was it forced upon you? Was there an opportunity that presented itself, or did you go to a seminar and learn this stuff? Like, how did you make your leap?
Originally, I went to, probably around 18 years old, I went to a Carlton Sheets seminar.
Shout out Carlton Sheets. Oh my gosh. Shout out to Carlton Sheets. What's funny, I was just texting him a year and a half ago before he passed away. You know he passed away?
Yes, I do.
And I was texting him, and he said, the torch has been passed to you. And he kind of knew he was going to, and his life was going to be ending. What an amazing guy that guy was.
He would do the stage thing and sell his cassettes.
Yes. It was a lot of the no down payment stuff.
Yes, no down payment.
Yeah.
And I did write a little something about that in my book that's coming out, but not to plug the book now.
Oh, I love the book. The book is amazing. The first book that you're coming out with is Should Have Listened.
Should Have Listened, yes.
And then you have a follow-up book. You're not done with that book yet, right?
No, I'm not.
And that book is
Now What?
Now What? Okay, so Should Have Listened. I think it's one of the greatest titles of a book. That book, you're going to be on Amazon, I imagine?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll put a link in the description down below for you guys to hear his book. So you go to Carlton Sheets. Did you do anything with that at the time?
I tried.
Okay.
And the biggest pushback I got was, you don't want to get in real estate. Everybody wanted to tell me the same thing. Nah, that's not the business for you. You don't need to be in real estate. You don't make any money in real estate. This is what people would tell you. And I would go to people who owned houses around the neighborhood, and they would all tell me the same thing. Me, I would have to say their mindset then was they wanted everything for themselves.
Oh, wow. They were trying to keep you out of the business.
Yes.
So that they didn't have their more competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there was a building that I looked at, and it was, I want to say 49 units, 690,000 or something like that, and couldn't raise the money because
you had no track history.
Nobody was.
Didn't have the right connections. I mean, hell, the people you're talking to on a daily basis are telling you to stay out of the game,
away from it,
right? So that was your Rolodex at the time.
Yes. And then I remember even mentioning it to my father at the time, who had an apartment building in the Bronx. And he said, well, go stand in front of the building. He said, describe it to me. I described it. He said, 100 years old, you wouldn't know what you're doing. So that was it. He killed that dream. But even then, we're still working in the grocery stores. I remember there was one person, Dave, that said to me, he says, Paul, one day, you're gonna be a manager of one of these stores. I says, no, one day I'm going to be in real estate. As a matter of fact, the funny part of this story is, I said, one day they're going to call me Paulie Trump.
Oh, I like that.
And
I mean, at the time, Trump was like a superhero in New York.
Absolutely.
Like he's not the clown that he is today. He was just dynamic, just an absolute bad. And everybody in New York wanted to become Trump.
Yes, everybody loved him in New York. He was like New York royalty.
Because he was developing, he was changing the face of the city. He was doing amazing stuff.
I bump into him on a Disney cruise years ago, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. And he comes over, he hits me in the back. He says, wow, I can't believe this is you. Paul, how you been? Blah, blah, blah. So do I call you Paulie Trump? I says, yes, you do.
Yes. That's so good.
Yeah, so that
you guys just this is the guy that thought the best thing that you should be doing with your life, Paul, is to become a manager of this grocery store.
Yes.
And he ends up coming in and seeing you on a cruise just randomly. And you were able to say, yeah, look, that's right. Here's what I've accomplished. Amazing.
Yeah, pretty wild.
The tough thing there too is you've got your dad who was also in real estate at the time. He kind of probably accidental to a certain degree. Like he bought something because he just thought he should buy something. But even he's not really encouraging you. It didn't seem like it. It didn't seem like he was saying, Paul, you're going to figure this out. Here's what you do. Da, da, da. Nobody was really giving you the steps or the encouragement to get to the next step.
I would ask him to teach me. No, he wanted me to have nothing to do with the business.
Was it because he was having a hard time in the business?
Yes. He had a building in the Bronx, and the Bronx was rough, especially where his building was, man. It was a tough spot. There were, I mean, even today, it's not so much that it's a tough spot, but collecting the rent in the Bronx is still a tough market to be in. But it was a volatile market, and he didn't want me anything near real estate or those buildings. But then he sold the buildings, and he had 2 buildings. He sold them, and he bought 1 property in the Hudson Valley. 70 units with 49 empties, and he didn't know it at the time. And that was a big problem.
He paid this off in cash.
Yes.
So he's got a 70-unit deal, 42 units are empty.
Yeah. No, 49.
49?
49 empties.
Was it because he couldn't find tenants? Like, what was going on? Or did they all need to be renovated?
They needed work, but not complete renovations. They needed love.
Yeah.
You know, just a little bit of love would straighten them out. His problem was that in New York City, if I may, there's 10 asses for every seat. In the Hudson Valley, there's 10 seats for every ass.
Oh.
So now what? Now you have to be that special chair that people want to come and sit in. And he wasn't that chair.
It's a little bit more competitive in the sense of I need to attract people to this property. In the city, you've got probably a waiting list to get into a building.
Yes.
Up in the Hudson Valley, you don't have a waiting list. You have to attract the individual.
Yes.
Okay. So your dad wasn't doing any of that.
No.
So what did he do? I know the story, but he ended up getting you involved, right?
My brother and I, yes.
Okay. And how was that structured, and what did that look like? What was your first couple of steps?
My first couple of steps was go and look at the apartments and see what the problem was. Because if you can't attract a person to come and live there, what's the reason why?
Right.
So I go and look at the apartments, and then I said to him, we have to renovate this whole place. He didn't have the money, but we borrowed. We were able to.
Okay.
And we wound up getting it done, doing the work, changing the facades, doing everything we needed to do.
Were you contracting it out, or were you doing a lot of the work yourself?
We did some of the work ourselves, but a lot of it I was the GC for.
Got it. So you were subbing out, you were bringing the people on. When you borrowed money, did you borrow money from a family member, just like a private money lender, or did you guys go get a refinance and pull money out of a bank?
Family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he had it paid off free and clear, which they had a lot of, obviously they had a lot of security in the deal. Do you remember what it cost you at the time to renovate this property?
$1.1 million.
$1.1 million. Okay. So you go and borrow $1.1 million from family members, private money lenders, essentially, or FMLs, family members, family member lenders. You go get $1.1 million. You go do the work. You're the GC. You get these units up and going. I would imagine this probably took a good year to a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Year and a half. And you were able to get them leased up. And at the time, what year would you say this is?
20 years ago.
20 years ago. So we're like 2004, 2005 timeframe.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so these are all leased up. Do you guys still own this property?
Yes, we do.
I freaking love that. Freaking love that. What would you say the property is worth now?
Probably $18 million.
Oh my gosh. What did your dad buy it for?
4.
Wow. Okay, so 18 million bucks. You've kept the property. Is your dad still around?
No.
How did you structure that deal? Did you buy the deal from him, or did he remain a partner on the deal for a while?
We bought it from him.
You
After the renovations were done.
Okay.
Originally what had happened was he asked my brother and I to come in and run the property.
Okay.
I started then going through the property, reviewing things, seeing what needed to be done. Believe it or not, being in the supermarkets taught me so much about business. So now it's a no-brainer, understanding percentages, markups, things like that. What does it take? What does that apartment cost you? And what does it make you? And once you start thinking of it that way as a business, it becomes easier to understand.
Yeah, I see a lot of people that kind of despise their 9-to-5 jobs, and they'll say, I hate my job. Meanwhile, a guy like you, who's really, really smart, you're sitting there acquiring skills through those 20 years you worked at the supermarket that ultimately compounded into the skills you needed to turn around a big, massive multi-unit deal. Other people are like, I want to quit my job. I'm like, guys, learn the skills of how a business is operating before you go and quit. Like the good thing is you busted your ass to get those skills. You knew how to track. Mm-hmm. You knew when a contractor was giving you a bid. You knew when you were getting screwed and when you weren't being screwed. You knew how to balance the checkbook. You knew how to organize and structure the flow of something because you were doing that with a grocery store. I mean, that's like an ant farm almost, like all these ins and outs and people coming in and you're ordering things and filling the shelf. I would even argue, maybe I'm wrong, I would argue maybe a grocery store is probably harder to run than a multifamily unit.
By a lot.
See, this is interesting because so many people are like, oh, doing multifamily is way harder. I'm like, your job that you're in right now is harder than what you currently do for a living.
Absolutely. I mean, you have an apartment, this one, for example, 70 units. You have a supermarket with 7 aisles and 10,000 items. that
Right.
you have to track.
And thousands of clients that are coming through.
Yeah, keep track of the customer count. How many people are walking through the doors a day?
You also have to worry about people stealing from you at the cashiers and doing all the things, and clients coming in and putting things in their pockets. Like I'm seeing right now, Home Depots and some other locations closing down because they have so much theft going on.
Yep.
Running a store like that was way more challenging than what you and your brother went in and did and turned the 70 unit deal around. So you're at 18 months in, you get it all leased up. Do you then go and do a refinance and pay your dad out?
Yeah, but the funny thing about that was 2007 happens.
Oh my word. I was just thinking about the timeline of this. So your dad essentially seller finances the deal to you, and you then bring in private money lenders on the other side. So you're kind of in this deal, no money out of pocket, which is great.
Yes.
And your dad, did he give you a strike price? Like, here's my price I want when you guys go refinance it? Or was that not the original way you structured it?
He wanted his money back.
Just his money back. He's like, I want to forget about this headache. He was a tired landlord.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not equipped to do this. You guys go do this. Let me give this to my boys, which is kind of cool for your dad. Like as a legacy, creating a legacy, like he helped compound your dad did a good job.
He did.
Helping, his sons. You guys stepped in and did something he wasn't able to do. Was this really challenging? Did you have to go and ask people for help along the way? Or did you guys kind of inherently at that point in your life know what you needed to do?
I knew what I needed to do.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it just became a matter of making the connections along the way.
Okay.
Because you know nothing.
Right. Especially construction, right?
Yeah.
Your contractors and who is the right electrician and who's the right painter and all that kind of stuff. You probably had some contractors screw you a little bit on the property.
Always.
Yeah, always. Okay, so you then hit 2007 on this unit. You're not going to refinance at that time. I mean, there's no money. The banks are like, we're not giving money out.
The banks weren't giving us anything.
Right.
Finally, maybe 2008, I found a lender.
Okay.
Who would give us money. And now you're buying properties for pennies on a dollar.
Right.
So now I have a little bit of skill under my belt. And that was it. We were just off to the races. Now I'm, again, back to supermarkets teaching me what I knew. I'm able to look at properties. And
Right.
I'm able to understand, is this property making me money? And back then, there was no cap rate or anything like that.
Nobody was talking about
buying
cap rate,
properties, GRM,
Yeah.
gross rent multiplier. And that is the way I buy property today. Same way. Nothing has changed.
You and I are very similar. I think people are overhyped on the cap rate stuff, and GRM is great. I love that. And that's the way you learned it. The lender that ended up giving you a little bit of money, do you still have a relationship with that lender? No. Why not?
They're no longer around.
They sold out to somebody else or whatever.
It was a bank called Amalgamated.
Got it. It's because nobody could spell the bank name. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys, step number one, don't name a bank Amalgamated. You know what I'm saying? Like, name it Bank One or something like that. Paul's Bank. That's what you name it.
Corner Bank.
So they're gone. Did you start building relationships with banks over the years that you now have been using for 10 plus years?
I built a relationship with a broker.
A broker. Okay, great.
Yes. Through him, we've built relationships with the banks, but I always used a broker.
Tell me why. Tell the audience why you would use a broker over going direct to a bank. I think there's new people that are watching this and going, wait, what is a loan broker versus just me going to a bank? Like, why do I need a loan broker and what value do they bring to the table?
Well, the loan broker is going to know what bank is got what program going on. Okay. Who's more eager to push proceeds? Who's going to be more conservative? And then he allows you to build a relationship with that bank. What bank is giving you better rates?
Right.
And their program, who's offering the best program?
Because like a program would be, hey, we'll give you 80% LTV. You give me 20% down, plus we'll give you a loan for renovation. Some banks will do that. Other banks won't do that. So there's different programs depending on the bank, right?
Well, yes, but a lot of what I look for in there is going to be prepayment penalties, because I want to know if I want to chop this thing a little bit shorter, they're going to work with me.
Right.
And then what's the rate? What's the reset? Now I have banks that I could negotiate anything I want in there, within reason.
Because you built a relationship.
Right.
So you can go, hey, I know you guys have this loan program going on now. It's 2024, but guys, can you adjust this? Can you fix this? Can you do that? You have that relationship. And you also understand what you want. So you can go and articulate that to the bank.
Right. Now, I don't know do you have what we call in New York a SEMA?
I don't know.
Okay. So in Arizona, maybe you don't have it. We have.
Is that like a breathing disease or something?
No, it's chain of custody of that mortgage.
No.
Okay. What some banks in New York will do, they won't give you that SEMA. So now that's a bargaining position at the end for the bank, at the end of the loan. And essentially what that does is it gives you chain of custody for that mortgage. So you're not paying tax on all the money. You're only paying mortgage tax on the new money.
Okay.
So if you've got a $5 million loan and then you refi it and take out $6 million, you're not paying mortgage tax on the $6 million. You're only paying mortgage tax on the $1 million.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is a big plus.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So that chain of custody is important. Not every state does it, but I know New York does it for sure. So this is something you want.
I've never even heard of it.
Okay. This is something you definitely want in your corner.
We were just talking about right before we started recording that there's so many things I learn every single day in real estate. It's just never ending.
Yeah.
So you want the SEMA?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You want it.
And some banks won't give it to you because they want control of it?
Some banks conveniently leave it out of their commitment.
Okay, got it.
Or out of the loan docs. And it's up to you and your attorney, or at this point, your attorney, to make sure that it's in there. Because if you don't refi with the bank, now they don't give you that SEMA. You go to another bank, you're paying tax on all the money.
They want you to do the refinance in-house.
Yes, sir.
That's what they want. They want to keep your business in-house. That makes sense. Okay, so and they just conveniently leave it out because they're assuming that you're not going to ask, but you're obviously been in the business for a long time. You have a great attorney. Your attorney's like, yo, bank. Paul's smarter than this, guys. Give me the SEMA. Got it.
You know, and that's one of the things that most new investors don't know. And unless you have a transactional real estate attorney, they don't know it either.
Yeah.
There are so many things that you can put into the mortgage docs to benefit you later or present. You know, it doesn't matter. Even as far as resetting a loan. Loan is due in 5 years. What do? Do you go out or do you just pass it over? Now, when you pass it over, do you have to get another appraisal? Do you need to do another phase one? You know, these are things that if you don't know to have them removed.
You didn't know this stuff when your guys' first 70 unit.
No.
So you had to learn it on your next deal, next deal. So you probably got kicked in the teeth a little bit.
Yep.
Okay. Along the way, you and your brother have obviously stayed partners.
Yes, to this day.
Okay. And it seems like it's worked out magically. Your brother brings something to the table that you don't and vice versa, right? You guys bring different skills to the table?
Yes. My brother his particular skill is dealing with tenants. He deals with the tenants. He collects the rents. So he follows that with a fine-tooth comb, goes over everything. Okay,
and he's working in the office with your daughters as well, right?
No, he's in a different office.
He's in a different office. Okay, yes. And he's not physically collecting these rents. This is all online at this point, right?
He's
tracking it.
You're right.
And he'll call because you guys manage your properties, which are, you guys have a lot of properties.
Yes.
You're managing your properties in-house. Why?
Why give that money to someone else?
Is managing that many properties not a big pain in the butt?
Of course it is. But what are you going to do? Give up and just give it away? And now what? Give the money you were making, take a pay cut to give to somebody else, add another expense?
I agree with you, especially when there's a lot of advantages to this strategy that you have. The strategy you have is you go, I'm managing everything myself. I'm going to buy in a very specific area. You're not just buying in Florida and North Carolina and you're all over the place, which would require you to have property management. Not require you, but it'd be a lot of a bigger problem, right? But your properties are all within an hour of each other?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you can do that. You have properties within an hour of each other. Do you guys have full-time handymen on staff or any of that?
Every property has a super. And then we have floating supers.
And do they live on site?
Yes.
What's a floating super?
He goes around when a job is too big. When you have a big project at a particular apartment or property, the floating super will go there and handle it.
Okay, got it. So these guys are living on site. They're getting reduced rent plus a salary?
Plus a salary.
And they're tinkering around on these properties every single day?
Every day.
And they're talking to the tenants? So they're basically the generals in your brother's army?
Yes.
And so they're boots on the ground. They're running all of these properties. Are there any significant problems that you have with those supers in terms of they can't do certain things? You have to hire things out, those types of things? Or is everything done in-house?
Depending on the municipality.
Got it. Because they don't want you to go and do your own electrical work.
Right.
They say you got to go hire that out. That should be an electrician, probably a plumber. maybe something structural. If there's a wall that's being removed or repaired, they probably want you to get a structural engineer. Obviously, your super is not a structural engineer.
No, they can't do that.
So they can't do that.
Day-to-day activities, repairs, little repairs, maintenance, blockages, things like that, depending on the municipality, will determine whether they can hang a fixture, change a light, a socket, something like that. But they can do it all. Certain municipalities don't allow it. You need a permit. That's why it's also very important to do your homework before you buy.
Yeah, I had somebody DM me the other day. They said, "Hey, Pace, I've got this property in Nashville. What advice do you have for me? I ran out of money on the project that it's a fix and flip. I bought it, hard money, renovation costs, private money. I ran out of capital." I'm like, "Okay, well, what am I missing? Were you over budget?" And they're like, "No, well, what happened was the city came in and shut us down." What happened? Well, we thought we could do all the electrical, the framing, the this, that, and the other, just with our handyman. And the neighbors saw us bringing in a big beam with 14 guys hauling into the house. I'm like, "You're asking me for advice about this right now? Like you knew what you were doing was wrong." And she said, "No, I had no idea." Okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but the reality is every municipality, I would imagine nationwide, is going to require you to use a licensed electrician when you're doing electrical work, unless it's switching out a socket. Right. Have a handyman do that. But when you're running wire or you're changing out the panel, right? You're changing out fuses and all that kind of stuff. Every municipality is going to require you to do that.
And not for nothing, you should. If you're working in the panel, if you're changing out a panel, like say you're changing a panel from fuses to breakers,
right?
Your men shouldn't be doing that. You should hire an electrician to do that.
Because imagine if there's a fire.
Yes.
Then you have a claim. Somebody dies, hypothetically, for heaven forbid, and it comes out that you used a handyman to fix the electrical panel.
Speaking of that, then what? Now you face a manslaughter charge.
Right.
That's even worse.
Right. Because you want to save $400 on a permit.
Exactly. So there are certain things you have to give out to the professionals. Not that my supers aren't professional supers. Mm-hmm. They're just not electricians. They're just not plumbers.
Okay, so you and your brother, obviously the dynamic has worked out really well. Other people are not as lucky as that. It sounds like you guys balance each other out really, really well. He brings things to the table that you don't, and vice versa. After the 70 unit deal, what was this? Did you guys sit down and go, "Man, we can do this. Let's go acquire more. Let's go and do more"? Or did it take you a while to start warming up to building the portfolio?
I knew from day one. He was young. He was 20 years old.
Okay, got it.
So he didn't know about what direction to go in. It was me that was just, to use an expression from my father, full of piss and vinegar. I just wanted to go. And I did. So right after that refi, paid back the lenders.
Yep.
And bought another 75 unit complex.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So when you did the refinance, you paid back your 1.1 million plus their return. Mm-hmm. Obviously you got your father paid back. How much money did you have to leverage into another deal?
It was two.
Oh my gosh. Real estate's the coolest freaking thing ever. And this is tax-free money.
Yes.
So you got $2 million to go leverage into another deal. You go buy a 75 unit deal.
It's a 70 apartments, 5 garages. So when I speak about units, anything that's bringing me rent is a unit.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
okay, so
I'm the same way. Like my RV pads at my RV parks, that's a pad. It's not an actual house, and it brings in income.
But it's a unit.
It's a unit, yeah.
Yeah, it's a unit of rent.
Okay, so you've got 70 units plus 5 garages bringing in income on that property. How did you start finding properties? I know the answer, but everybody else is like, how is he? Okay, he got his first deal from his father, did it seller finance, no money down, brought in a private money lender, love it, great deal. Your next deal, you've got $2 million from compounding in. How are you now finding this next deal?
My father had a broker, actually from Jersey, who sold his building in the Bronx and then sold him the building that was the 70 units with 49 empties.
Got it.
So she came to us with another deal who happened to be a woman right across from our office who owned another management company. And that was a building we paid $5.1 million for.
Okay, so you had the $2 million to put down. Mm-hmm. You went and got a loan for the remaining 3.1 plus costs and all that kind of stuff. Did that property need to be renovated and turned over? It was already cash flowing.
Yes, it was going good.
So day one, it was already cash flowing.
It just had a bad reputation.
Got it. And it had a bad reputation because the prior owner was not managing it properly?
No, because it was a shooting on site.
Got it. Was that the motivation for her to sell the property? Like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. This is over my head.
I don't know. I don't know what her motivation was. And quite honestly, for me, it didn't matter. I didn't care. I was getting a good property at a decent price.
Yeah, this is where you and I are similar in a lot of our philosophy. One of the things I'm addicted to that you don't care about is love knowing why somebody sold the property. For you, you're like, I don't care. I just want, is it making money?
Yeah, that's it.
Which is it. I love it. And I love that. Different strokes, different folks,
Yes.
right? So broker brings you the deal, 5.1 million. You put the $2 million into the deal. You guys take this thing over. At this time, did you have online reputation type of stuff? Like, was internet here or not yet? Okay, so you had to kind of change the vibe of this building inside the neighborhood ultimately. Yes. Okay, got it. You now have a property. This one's cash flowing. What year would you say this is? 2010, 2012?
24. Let's call it 10.
Okay, 2010. You guys immediately take this over. This is close enough to your other 70 unit. Now you've got, between the two, you've got 145 units. Mm-hmm. You guys were managing this, you and your brother, no other help?
No, just us.
No bookkeeper?
No, just us.
Holy hell.
Yeah, just us.
Who was doing the bookkeeping? You?
My brother was writing the checks, but I was deciding which bills to pay.
And where were you officing out of?
At that point, now an actual office.
Okay, at that point, you guys got an office. Okay, you had enough cash flow that you could have some overhead costs and whatever else. A lot of people starting in the business, they have this glamorized version of what this all looks like, where here you are, your first 70 units, you didn't have an office.
No.
You didn't have some fancy high rise. You were working out of your house.
Working out of my father's house.
Okay, got it. And you weren't married at this time?
Yes.
Oh, you were married at this time?
Yes.
To your now wife?
Yes.
So you remember him going through all this stuff? Wow. So she watched you going to the property, fixing things all over.
Yes.
Did she think you were a lunatic for doing this, or she knew this was your dream?
She knew it was happening. She knew it was happening. And one thing about my wife, she's with me through thick and thin.
So she watched this go on. She watched you guys sell the property, compound into the next one. Were you guys cheering, going on, we made it? When you hit 145 units in your portfolio, you were like, we made it, we're done.
No.
What was the mindset at that point?
We keep pushing. Keep pushing it. The office was in the house, and I said, we can't run a business from the house. We need an office. This is not a business until it has an office. We're out of the house. I found an office, small office, 2 little spaces. Yeah. And that was it, and then from there, we just treated a business like a business. You don't treat a business from the house like a business.
You don't. It's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So what's your first hire?
Well, supers.
Okay. So you hired supers before you hired bookkeepers. You guys were doing all the bookkeeping, the clerical stuff, the admin stuff. You were handling all that yourself. You then hire supers to manage both properties. So you have one super at one property, another super at another.
Right.
Your brother immediately knew he was the guy to manage both of those guys, or did you guys have to go through some learning experiences?
No, that was all me.
Okay, that was you.
Yes. I take care of everything in the field.
Even still today?
Oh, even to this day.
Got it. Okay, great. Yeah. So the supers will text you. They'll say, hey, I've got a problem. Mm-hmm. They're not texting your daughters that work in the office, none of that.
No, but that will start.
Interesting. All right. Well, once she gets her college degree or
nope,
sooner?
As soon as I get home from Arizona.
I love it. I love it. Amazing. Okay. So you start doing this, you have the supers. What was the first in-office person that you guys ended up hiring, and where was that in your journey?
That took a little longer. Then we added another property.
Okay.
That was another 64 units.
Close by?
Yes. Yes. All of our properties are condensed. They're all near each other. So then that 64 units, we decided we needed an office person just to even deal with the calls.
Mostly from the tenants?
Yes.
Okay.
And we wound up having a bookkeeper then twice a week.
Okay.
And she was with us for a while. And then she got sick, so she had to leave. We wound up then hiring another bookkeeper and going through bookkeepers. Then we had one that was with us for about 14 years.
She's still with you?
No, she left.
Okay.
Yeah. But, during that process, you just continue to grow.
Right.
We never stopped looking for properties.
And most of this is coming from brokers.
Yes. And we still only have 2 people working in the office.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart, right? You're not hemorrhaging money on management. A lot of people are paying anywhere between 7% to 12% management. When you have that many units, hundreds of units, I mean, you're saving you guys yourself like $100,000+ a month in management.
But that's not even, we also are third-party managers.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. I didn't even think about this. So you guys are managing other people's properties as well.
Yes. And I'm a New York State court-appointed a manager.
What does that mean?
That means I'm a fiduciary. I would get, if a property gets into trouble with the bank,
Okay.
and the bank is foreclosing, it goes into receivership.
Mm.
The receiver then has to hire a manager.
You're the guy.
I'm the manager.
Wow. How much money can you make from that? Can you make more money from managing other people's properties than you can from managing or from having your own ownership in properties?
Owning your properties is the way to make the money.
Okay, but that's just extra. Like we already have a system, we have processes, we have teams, supers, we have floating supers. Why the heck would we not be managing other people's properties?
That's just the next step. It makes sense. But there's so much more to keep up with. There's so much more back office when you're managing third party.
Yeah, because they have maybe ways they want to do it
Right.
differently than you guys. Maybe you're probably whipping them into shape a little bit, going, "Hey guys, we got to report this way. We got to collect this way.
Right.
You should be doing it the way we do it." But you're still dealing with other people's personalities.
Well, that's it. The personality is the big change there, because now you have each owner has his or her own way
Yeah.
of managing their property. And the problem with that is typically an owner comes to us because they're in trouble.
Mm.
So
They tried to manage it themselves.
right.
They failed.
Right.
They go, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to lose the property. I'm hemorrhaging money. Save me."
Right. But now they come to you with the same attitude that they had when they were running the property, because they don't understand it was them that was failing the property.
They blame the tenants.
The property wasn't failing them. They were failing the property.
Right.
It was poor management.
So you guys have built a reputation in your town
Yes.
that you're the people to come to.
Yes.
From being the property management company also in town, have you gotten opportunities to buy properties from owners that just go, "You know what? I'm just done. You know what? You guys are managing it. Just buy it from me." Have you had that yet?
We would always take over a property. We have never bought a property from a client.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. We've never done that. But we could if we wanted to. You know, if a seller wanted to sell a property, we would entertain it.
I guess the challenge is you guys are good at management, so you fix the property to the point where they don't want to sell.
And to the point where it's unaffordable.
Got it. Yeah. So you guys raise the rents, you get the things going, you love the property, it's cash flowing, and now the value of it's way more than what you would want to pay for it.
Right. And to be completely transparent, we have stepped away from a lot of the third party management.
And why is that? You just want to focus more on purchasing your own?
We just want to focus on our own properties, purchasing, growing, because now we're going to thinking about leaving New York and starting to invest in other states.
Interesting. Why is that?
New York is just becoming too hard to manage in.
Tenant landlord laws.
Yes.
Got it. You're getting to the point where tenants, if they're not paying, evictions are challenging and that type of stuff?
Oh my God. Since COVID, evictions are a joke. Now, where we are in the Valley, evictions used to go relatively smooth. Not anymore. Now, where you can get an eviction, somebody out of an apartment in 2 months, now you're still 6-7 months later, you're still fighting.
Yeah, we're 30 days here, 40 days here. And, we have to get an eviction attorney involved every once in a while. But for the most part, we just go to the tenant and go, "Hey, we'll give you $1,000. You leave right now. Otherwise, we're going to have this, constable's going to come and pull you out of the house," type of thing. They have 40 days.
Yeah, they want more than $1,000 too.
Yeah, they understand the leverage they have, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like what's going on in LA right now, where there's rent control, and then also you have to buy your tenants out of so instead of releasing with them, their tenants are getting an average of like $40,000 to just get bought out at the end of the lease. The lease is over, and you have to buy your tenant out to leave the property. This is LA County, and it's starting to kind of expand outside of LA County. I'm like, I don't want to be around that. It's ridiculous. That's interesting. You guys have been in the business now, 2007. You've been in the business almost, 17, 18 years.
Couple of decades. I've been involved and investing in real estate.
Right. So a couple of decades, and you look at this and you go, I'm now at a point where New York is becoming too problematic for me. You're not planning on selling your properties.
No.
You're just planning on saying, if we're gonna do another refinance and we're gonna get some cash, we'd rather deploy it maybe North Carolina and South Carolina where tenant laws are a little bit more, weighed evenly. Have you guys looked at a state that you would go into right now?
There's a couple of states. I mean, my brother no longer lives in New York either.
That's right. He lives in Georgia.
Yes.
Which is, in my personal opinion, I love Georgia.
Yeah.
A lot.
So he's out. He does come back and forth to the office. He does come once a month, but it's one of those things where I don't know if I necessarily want to invest in Georgia, but I'm open to any state except a few.
Yep.
And we all know what those few states are.
Right.
But I would look in Georgia. I'm looking at a piece in West Virginia.
I love West Virginia. Great area.
It's a good state.
Awesome landlord laws.
Yeah. So there's something I may be going down there to take a look at in the next couple of weeks.
And it's super affordable. West Virginia is affordable, at least from a rent purchase ratio versus like New York City, right? I imagine you'd get a better yield going to West Virginia.
Funny thing about New York City's in a bad way as far as real estate goes.
In what way? Meaning there's a lot of vacancies?
No, values are plummeting. Okay? People are so afraid to invest in New York. I've been investing in New York my whole life. So it's not something that I'm afraid of. It's just something I'm tired of.
Right.
But as far as getting a deal now, New York City, you're getting properties that are reducing in price by half.
No.
Yes.
Landlords are like, we just want to get out.
They want out. Properties, here, for example.
What is going to happen in New York?
For example, you could have bought a property in New York at a 3 cap, which would have been a normal number.
Right.
However, you can now buy that same property that somebody bought for a 3 cap at a 6 or 7 cap in just a matter of a few years.
Wow.
That's a problem. And what's really killing sellers throughout the New York market is pride. They feel they can't sell. They can't take that haircut. My property's worth what it's worth.
Yeah.
They can't sell.
So they're sticking it through.
Sell the property because you're going to get hurt.
Right. It's not going to get better.
No.
It's going to get worse way before it gets better. I mean, New York has got to come to an awakening. It's kind of like what's going on with the immigrant crisis. I'm all about immigration. Love it.
Absolutely right.
And I know you are too. You're
Yes.
you're an immigrant. Your wife is an immigrant. Your family, right?
Yes,
First
yes.
generation. You look at it and you're like, amazing. Love it. Come on in. But you look at what happened with New York. They're taking your property tax dollars and then they're just giving debit cards to people that are coming into your state. Where are those people going to live? First and foremost, right? You've got a little bit more homelessness going on. You've got just craziness going on. Landlords are not able to kick people out of their properties. And you now are starting to see people looting and doing all sorts of stuff. They're not going after people that are looting.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is going to happen? Now, we don't need to have this whole conversation, but it makes sense why you would want to invest outside of the state and start looking for other places. So you go to another state. How is Paul going to find a deal in another state? What's your way of doing that?
Well, I have to learn about that particular market.
Okay.
So I'll check online like everybody else. Reach out to brokers.
And what are you asking these brokers when you reach out?
I'm testing them. So I'd ask them the simple question: what are the markets like? What's going on in the market? What are you seeing change? Which I already know. I've done my research.
Right.
Then I'll ask questions like, what do you see coming? What's coming to that particular environment? Are they building a stadium? Is there a hospital? What's the big provider? Is there big healthcare in the area? What is there? These are the things I want to know, because I want to know how many people are looking for apartments, and is it transient? Is it a transient market? What are the
like a North
demographics?
Dakota? Like North Dakota for a while, oil prices were sky high. So they had temporary workers coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They're over there building housing like crazy. And then all of a sudden prices of oil go down. These towns, they last for 2 years or whatever based on the price of oil. Could be the same thing. Maybe they're building a microchip factory and they bring in all these construction workers for 2 years and then they leave. So you're looking at that and you're saying, are these temporary workers that are
Right.
coming in, or are they permanent people? So you're doing the research on all of those types of things because that's important for somebody like you. That's like, I want sticky clients. I want them to stick to my apartment. I don't want to have turnover every single year on every single unit.
People don't get that. People think the second you get somebody out, oh, you're going to get this big increase. You know, it's one thing if they're way below market.
Right.
And you can get that increase. And if they leave, you pick up that increase. However, if you're at fair market, don't believe the pro forma. When you're buying a property, pro forma, I've never seen a pro forma I didn't fall in love with.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I say it all the time. Buyers are liars. Sellers are worse. The sellers will, and the brokers, they'll create these pro formas that are like, you just know you've got to have somebody with a brain going through and with a fine tooth comb, what's missing, what's incorrect, what's inaccurate. And you basically are a detective. You're a deal detective. I've got to find out where the lies are in order for me to really understand the income.
If you think about it, let's say we moved from New York City to the Hudson Valley with real estate.
Yeah.
You had 50 units in a 100 by 100 lot. Now you've got 50 units in a 10-acre property. You never knew to ask. Oh, shit, I got all kinds of landscaping here I have to do. Now I got to start planting new trees. There's an expense that wasn't on the setup.
Right.
Wow. Oh, wait a second. It's got septic and leach fields. What's that?
Ooh, yeah.
Oh, how do I maintain that? You don't know. Does it have a well? Is it city water? You don't know. Now, oh, wait a second. I got to bring somebody in to treat the water. I have to test it and send it to the county. Do I need to be licensed for that, or I have to send somebody out for a license? These are things you learn on the fly. Yeah. Then you've got the taxes that you never heard of. Yeah. Fire tax, garbage tax. Huh?
Or they raise property taxes on you.
Property taxes. Well, your property taxes are going up anyway.
Right.
You have to know the second you do a deal, that not the first year, the second year, those taxes are going to go up based on your purchase. Price.
Yeah.
So now what? Was that figured in when you did your underwriting on that deal? Because if it wasn't, you're going to be hurting.
Right.
So if you don't know to ask these things, you're in trouble.
Wow. So your primary thing when you're jumping into a new market, going after multifamily, is you're building a relationship with a broker. You're going through and filtering them out. You probably talk to 10, 2 of them are really, really good that you want to work with. Maybe you vibe with their personality a little bit more. You find out they have a little bit more experience. Maybe they even have some pocket listings or some sellers that you can start looking at deals off market. Because most really good brokers will have sellers that they haven't listed on the market yet. And they'll go, hey, before we put it on the market, take a look at this. Because they know you're going to perform. So why put it on the market, right? Are you also building a relationship, not just with brokers, but with local banks there? Or are you still using the same loan broker that you have in New York?
If the broker can work there, I'll use him.
Okay.
However, it would behoove me to build a relationship with people there too.
Yeah.
Because what happens if my current broker can't work there?
You have a problem.
Yeah. So,
and a lot of times the real estate broker will know loan brokers in their local area that they've done deals with and that perform, et cetera. So you're doing that already. You're doing reconnaissance essentially for, let's say, West Virginia. You then see an asset that you really like. You're not buying property sight unseen. You're going.
Have to go.
Before you put an LOI on the property, are you getting boots on the ground?
Absolutely. I have to go.
Okay.
I have to go and look at that property. I have to do a thorough inspection because I don't know what to offer unless I see the property.
Let's say let's take West Virginia for an example. I know that might not be the deal or the market that you're going to end up buying in. You fly out there. Are you hiring an inspector to walk through with you? Are you bringing the broker with you? Who are you bringing with you? Or are you going on your own?
Me and myself.
Okay.
I go with us two. Maybe I bring one of my kids or somebody else who I'm teaching and the broker.
Okay. And you're walking through, what's your mindset when you're going through there? You're looking for things that could never be shown through a photo.
I'm looking for the lies.
Okay.
I'm looking for what are they hiding under the new paint? What's going on here? You know, if it's let's say an older property, you have to know what to look for. You have to look at the facade of the building. What's happening here? Is it got a bow in it? Where are these cracks? Is this a facade or is this an actual structure?
Right.
You know, what are we looking at? Is this a brick veneer or a brick, is it a real
actual brick? Yeah.
Right. So these are things you want to know. And then you look, oh, what's up with the lentils? These are things you have to know to look at, to see where's water getting in behind the bricks, what's popped, Why are these bricks going to bow? Am I going to have to change the whole veneer? If do I need to do pointing? I go up to the roof, look at the roof. What kind of roof is it? Is it a rubber roof? Is it just a black paper roof? What's up with the parapet? Am I going to have to repoint the parapet?
Yeah.
You know, here in New York City, they're famous. They're famous for running the rubber roof right up the parapet wall.
Interesting.
Why? Because that thing needed to be pointed. Instead of pointed, they
just covered it. Yep, just cover it up. Classic. Okay, so West Virginia, you go out there, you're looking for the lies. Are you primarily looking for an asset that you need to do value add to, or are you looking for an asset that you go, I don't want to deal with the renovation. I'm willing to pay top dollar for the property. I can just make sure it's cash flowing from day one, but I don't want to have to do this big heavy lift.
I never looked for a property with value add. I looked for a property with upside.
Okay.
With just natural and organic upside. I didn't look for one that I had to go in and start renovating kitchens, renovating bathrooms to recognize that upside and get the rents up.
And why not? Because it seems like a lot of syndicators and people that are putting funds together, that's their primary objective. They want to find something that's kind of undervalued because it needs a renovation. And they go, I'm going to go through the year-long journey of renovating this thing. Is your thought process, I've already done that. I don't want to go through and do that again. I'm already at a point where I'd rather just buy a property that organically, because the population is growing, we're going to get rent increases. And maybe because the property, they hadn't raised the rents in 3 or 4 years, that there's obviously a rent increase that's coming up anyway. You'd rather go that route than a full value add.
Yes, I don't want to. Right off the bat, I know I'm making my money off the purchase price.
Okay.
So whatever they're asking is only a suggestion. I'm going to beat them up. I'm going to get my number.
That's a good t-shirt for you guys to make. Your purchase price or your ask price is just a suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they wish they can get.
Yeah.
Can they get it? Not from me.
Yeah.
It's funny, you know, and just to get off real quick, off the subject, in the last 3 months, I've had accepted offers on deals for $1 million below ask. And you're not talking about $20 million deals that can afford that. You're talking about $5 million deals.
You're taking 20% off the purchase.
Yes.
Yeah.
And people are saying yes. I've had clients pick up properties for $1 million, $1.5 million off ask. And, you know, the client always asks the same question. Pace, it's funny. Aren't you afraid you're going to insult them? Insult them? They insulted me by asking so much.
Right.
I don't care if I insult them.
And you also know the game, right? You know the
Yes.
game. They're expecting somebody that's savvy like yourself to come along and go, it's not worth $5 million. It's worth 3.9. The hell are they doing? Meanwhile, they've got dummies that's their first time in the game going and raising money. And this is what's happening right now.
That's the problem.
A lot of syndicators are getting in trouble right now and will in next year. They went and raised money on short-term loans, you know, little bridge loans. They go syndicate money. They're planning on an exit. They bought the deal at, let's say 3% or whatever it is, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. They now are trying to plan an exit to a REIT or a hedge fund or whatnot. Hedge funds aren't buying at that cap rate anymore. And they're toast. And they're like, I have now, my loan is due. They overpaid and they didn't have a good long-term strategy. What I love about your strategy is you're like, I don't sell. I keep it all.
Yeah, I'm not going to sell and I'm not going to overpay. Period.
Okay, so what's the long-term strategy? Is the long-term, Paul's gone. Your wife is gone. Are your kids running this empire?
Yes.
Okay.
My kids, my niece and my nephew, they're running the business.
Love it. And they want that.
Well, my niece and nephew are very young, so they don't know what they want. But my kids now are in the office and they see the future.
I love it. So they continue to follow along.
Yes.
Well, this is an amazing thing. I think this is a good tip for a lot of people too, is that if you really want to learn the business in and out, I think getting inside of an office like yours, getting a clerical job, whether it's bookkeeping and seeing how the numbers work, the software, seeing all those kind of things, getting a job inside of a multifamily office or a property management company is a really good way to start. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Get in there, see what it takes to run the business, see what the owners go through, see what the managers go through. That's what people don't know.
Yeah.
They see all the glitz, all the glory. They think it's great. Oh, look, they got great cars, they wear nice jewelry, all this stuff. No, you don't know what it takes to get there.
Yeah. What you're seeing is 17 years of grit, 20 years of grit, compounded. You've probably had some horrible war stories, right? So a lot of the war stories, which we haven't covered today, and I purposely didn't cover a lot of the war stories because I think the book that you have coming out called Should Have Listened
Yep.
is primarily around war stories and things that have happened to you, right?
Yes. Yes. It's essentially my career in real estate, what it's taught me and how it taught me.
Why did you call it Should Have Listened? I love the title, but is it, man, somebody told me this, I should have listened.
Yes.
Here's somebody told me this on an asset, I shouldn't be doing this, I did the wrong thing. Do you have any examples of things you should have listened to?
Perfect example is, don't buy that property. It's too expensive. I'm going to buy it.
Because you were,
Don't buy that property. It's too expensive.
you were full of piss and vinegar. You just wanted another.
Yes.
I always tell people you're horny for a deal.
Yeah.
You stop thinking. You're like a dude. You stop thinking entirely, and all you can think about is a deal, and you'll go buy a bad deal because all you want to do is just get into another and get some more action.
Yeah. But that takes discipline. Real estate is about discipline and patience. If you don't have discipline and you don't have patience, you're going to learn a very hard, expensive lesson. And it can ruin you. It could ruin you and every investor you bring with you.
So you've got some of these stories in that book.
Yes.
Okay. Should Have Listened. When is it coming out?
Should be out in the next week.
No.
Yes. Should be out next week.
Okay. So by the time this hits our YouTube channel,
It should be out.
the book
Yeah.
will be out. And how can they find it?
Find it either go to my website, Carassone.com. There'll be a link there to the site, or just go to the Amazon bookstore.
Love it.
I'll have a link set up that I can get to you as well.
Cool. I'll make sure Eric and the team puts it in the description down below. Best place for people to follow you is _property boss. You know what's funny is you and I were DMing back and forth a couple days ago, and I actually thought it was your team the whole time. And I replied back and I said, hey man, I know this is Paul's team, but I just really, I'm excited for you coming back. And you reply, and you go, no, it's me. I'm actually replying to the DMs. So if somebody has a question, they have a comment, they have a thing, is the best place to go to Instagram DMs?
You can DM me on Instagram. If obviously I can't see all the DMs.
Yeah.
But if I see it or my team sees some sort of a question, they'll bring it to me. They've even brought me questions where we've done videos.
I love it. Okay, very cool. And you guys have currently, you're doing a weekly Zoom call. How can people get on that weekly Zoom call?
Well, we're doing a weekly Discord.
A weekly Discord, okay.
Right. So that just, you can also, like in social media on my Instagram, just DM me mentor, and you get the free invitation and the link.
Okay, guys, head over to Instagram, _property boss on Instagram. Type in the word mentor, and don't type in mentor with an exclamation point or some weird thing. I get that all the time. People are like, I go, hey, DM me the word whatever. And they'll go, whatever, exclamation point. I'm like, it's not going to trigger the robot. You got to trigger the robot. So just mentor, and they'll get the invitation to hang out with you on the Discord.
Yes.
And you're doing that once a week?
Once a week, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Wow. 7 p.m. Eastern, guys. Check them out. Paul, I can't wait for I Should Have Listened to come out.
Thank you, Pace.
Freaking excited. So, guys, go and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Is your guys' YouTube channel also The Property Boss? The Property Boss, no underscore. Love it, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out. Go and follow Paul. You'll see him a whole bunch. Him and I will be hanging out. I'll probably come out and hang out in New York. I don't know what we'll do out there. Shoot guns, maybe.
Yeah, well.
Or maybe
no,
not.
Not in New York.
Okay,
you know what? I'll come out here and
we'll shoot guns out here in Montana, and we'll do all the horse riding out here. But over in New York, we'll have some amazing food. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it much.
Appreciate you.